the Havoc Rebels United. Our New Year's celebration came to an explosive end. Imperial forces wise to our rebel ways. In the ensuing firefight, Havoc barely escaped capture yet again, but our scramble to flee came at a cost. Status report. What's our damage?
That blast took out our rear deflector shields and the hyperdrive motivator is fried. We can't make the jump to Earth.
Rerouting auxiliary power to stabilize critical systems. But she took a heavy beating back there.
I told you we should have stood our ground. These imps need a good crushing.
Another time. For now, we need distance and repairs. Ilara, what's the nearest port for parts and service?
Scanning now. Looks like Zentara colony on the outer rim. Isolated, low Imperial presence. We can blend in there.
Then set course best speed. Havoc won't be grounded for long.
Easier said than done, Captain. That hyperdrive needs a full rebuild. Lucky if we limp to Zentara at sublight speeds.
She's right. The nav systems are shot, too. We'll have to pilot manually, calculate each jump.
Blast of all the stinking luck.
We knew we'd have a target on our backs after that data heist, Captain. The Empire was waiting for a slip-up.
You're right, we got sloppy. Almost paid the ultimate price back there. All right, Havoc, no more mistakes. We get these repairs done quick and quiet. Then it's laying low where we blend in until things cool down.
Quiet isn't my specialty. Just point me at something that needs smashing.
All in due time. For now, keep that trigger finger ready, but no itchy blaster work. We get in, get patched up, and disappear. Understood?
Yes,
Captain.
Good. Ilara, take us down manual if you have to. Next stop, Zentara.
Guiding us in now. Looks like they have a decent repair depot on the surface. I'll put us down nearby.
Let's hope their mechanics are skilled. I'll prep our motivator and shield generator for removal.
You've got this, Eric. Have a space ready again soon.
Finally, first round's on me.
You still owe me for the last 3.
You've never paid for anything.
Zentara colony was carved out of jagged canyons deep in the lawless outer rim. Settlers, miners, and traders all rubbed shoulders in the dusty streets. Pioneers eking out a living far beyond civilization's reach. For Havoc Squad, it meant blessed anonymity after our close brush with the Empire. We made our way through the noisy repair depot, searching for the right motivator to get Havoc space worthy again. Eric led the way, part specifications in hand, as I scanned the crowds for Imperial spies. This far out, we had no idea how long the Empire's reach extended. Our search for ship parts was interrupted by shouts and crashing machinery in the distance. We rushed outside to see bulldozers and land cruisers emblazoned with the logo of the Zendi Mining Corporation, tearing down an outlying settlement. People screamed and fled from the demolition, scrambling to gather whatever possessions they could. A heavy walker stomped over a makeshift corral, scattering local grazing animals panicked and bleeding. Over it all loomed the smoke-spewing towers of massive strip miners scraping away at the valley walls. Their work expanded more ruthless and hungry each day. A grizzled man stumbled up to us, face twisted in desperation.
You there. You're off-worlders. Can you help us?
The chaos paused us in our tracks. We expected a remote outpost, not this unchecked corporate pillaging. I saw no Imperial insignia. Whatever Zendi's aims here, they served only greed. Before we could respond, Eric pulled us back from the growing crowd.
Best we keep our heads down for now.
There was wisdom in maintaining our anonymity, but ignoring such naked injustice sat ill with me.
These look like the right motivator models, Captain. Let me talk options with the shopkeeper.
Make it happen.
You there, off-worlders. I'm Tal. I represent the displaced settlers. We desperately need hired hands before it's too late.
I signaled the crew to halt. The last thing we needed was attention, but the man seemed gravely serious. What's the trouble here? We're just passing through for repairs.
I apologize for the abruptness, but our very way of life is under threat. The Zendi Corporation has taken over these valleys with their massive strip mining operations. They expand ruthlessly without care for who's in the way.
What do you mean? How are they expanding so rapidly?
They struck a rich oxidite deposit here a few cycles back. Since then, their operations have grown exponentially. They're demolishing our ancestral lands, diverting entire rivers, dumping chemicals that poison villages downstream. Children are born sick, elders can't breathe.
Why hasn't the Empire stopped them? This seems brazen even for the Outer Rim.
Out here, the Empire cares only for profits and resources flowing in. They gave Zendi free rein to do as they please. My people tried to resist, but they have an army of mercenaries and combat drones. Anyone who speaks up disappears. We have nowhere left to turn.
Disappears? Just point me at them. I'll make them regret ever coming to Zentara.
Please, I know it's dangerous, but innocent lives hang in the balance. My people are dying. Are there any among you willing to take a stand?
I considered his desperate plea carefully. Havoc wasn't here to start a war, but with power came responsibility. Could we turn our backs on such suffering? You say you represent the settlers here? If we look into this matter, can you guarantee your mechanics will repair our ship quickly and discreetly?
Of course. Anything you need fixed or resupplied will be taken care of, free of charge. Just help us curb Zendi's damage until your repairs are complete. Please, I beg you.
I weigh Tal's words. Risky as confronting Zendi could be, with our motivator fried, we needed time for repairs one way or another. And turning away sat ill with me. All right, lead the way. We'll assess the situation, but no promises beyond that for now.
That's good enough for me. Thank you for even considering it. Follow me, I'll show you what we've already uncovered.
As Tal led us toward the strip mining operations, the landscape became increasingly scarred and desolate. What was once verdant wilderness was now stripped bare and gouged open. Massive craters from excavation equipment pockmarked the valleys, while spiraling conveyor belts wound out of the mines like metallic serpents. Clouds of ash and debris choked the sky, raining down grit that accumulated in drifts among muddy puddles tainted oily colors. The few remaining trees were skeletal husks corroded by blowing chemical dust. All vibrant life had been choked out, leaving only barren dirt and rock exposed to the elements. In the distance, smoke billowed from refinery towers that fueled this industrial maw, their hellish fires a stark contrast to the icy mountain peaks behind them. As we took in this vista of reckless destruction and extraction, I knew any natural beauty these valleys once held had been utterly defaced in the pursuit of profit. What remained was a bleached and broken shell, a festering wound gouged ever wider. Each day we delayed. We followed Tal through a narrow ravine. A weeping up ahead gave us pause. Huddled against the cliff wall was a family of anthropoid aliens, 2 parents shielding 3 small children. Their clothes were dusty and torn, their packs laden with meager possessions. The father looked up with sunken, despairing eyes as we approached.
These are the Nor. Their village was demolished to mine the oxidite veins beneath it. They came seeking aid, but nowhere is left to shelter them.
The mother clutched her children closer as Tal spoke. One coughed weakly, its large eyes brimming with tears.
There must be something we can do for them. These children are suffering.
The father shook his head sadly.
Our way of life was carved from these valleys over centuries, now erased forever in mere cycles.
His words pierced my heart. However impersonal the machinery grinding this land, it was families like these paying the true price. Helpless refugees with nowhere left to turn. If good people did not stand up soon, how many more would be crushed beneath the wheels of progress?
This is what Zendi has built in just a few short cycles, expanding larger every day. They dump chemical runoff straight into our rivers. We've pleaded for restraint, but they refuse to listen. All they care about is profits.
Tal activates a holo projector, bringing up footage of massive strip mines and devastation.
Zendi has been pillaging worlds like this for decades. Wherever minerals are found, their fleets arrive to strip and gut entire regions.
He punches up images of diverse planets ravaged by mining.
Once they sink drills somewhere, few have ever stopped their exploitation. They bribe Imperial officials, hire private armies, use slaves. Nothing stops profits.
The projections change to show Zendi ships dumping toxic waste, desolate villages, armed troops firing on protesters.
My people knew only rumors before. Now we see their cruelty firsthand. Children sick, elders dying, ancestor lands demolished.
He shuts off the images, facing us with desperation.
Can any of you stand against a force like this? On your own worlds, do your people allow such rapacious evil?
I consider my response carefully. Havoc is no army. Yet neither are we cowards blind to injustice. We escaped the Empire's leash. Perhaps this is the reason why. Tal nods solemnly. Our path is unclear, but now this fight belongs to us all.
I've seen operations like this before. They exploit and pollute without regard for local settlements. It's conquest by corporation rather than force of arms. Just as damaging, but harder to rally resistance.
It's a dire situation, no doubt. But open conflict with them risks attracting the Empire's attention on us again. I advise caution, Captain.
I know it's dangerous, but innocent lives hang in the balance. Children are getting sick, some have died. If good people do nothing, evil prevails. What say you?
This was an increasingly dire predicament. My conscience pulled me toward intervention, but caution warned of risks for Havoc. For now, we needed more intel to guide our next steps responsibly. Here's what I can promise for now. We'll investigate quietly, see how bad it really is. Once we know more, we'll decide if and how to make this right.
That's good enough for now. Thank you for not turning away. Please hurry though. Zendi expands their operation daily. Follow me back. I'll show you the rest.
We descended back towards the colony, the weight of this decision heavy on my mind. Getting embroiled in local conflicts went against our best interests, yet some evils cannot be ignored when they are within your power to stop. Tal led us to his modest stone dwelling on the outskirts of Zentara colony. Inside, he showed us extensive data and images documenting Zendi's steady encroachment on settler lands.
Here are aerial scans from the last few cycles. See how the strip mine expands outward daily. Sacred burial sites we've used for generations, demolished.
He points to ancient cairns and ceremonial grounds being churned up by mining machines, his people's heritage erased.
And water quality tests from the river. Toxic metals and chemicals are spiking since they built that refinery. It's poisoning us.
Alara examines the lab reports, looking grim.
These heavy metal levels are dangerously high, especially for children. You're wise to sound the alarm.
Last week we marched peacefully to their gates, asking them to halt expansion and clean up runoff. They hit us with sonic crowd dispersal. 3 elders died from the shockwaves.
Outrage wells up inside me hearing this, but I know we must be strategic with any response. This cannot continue, but a full frontal assault risks reprisal on your people. Zendi has security drones and worse. We need finesse, not force.
We should hit their production and mining equipment, slow them down where it hurts,
Not a
their
good
profit
idea.
margin.
Settle down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All options need careful thought.
Perhaps a diplomatic appeal through official channels?
Believe me, we've tried everything short of violence. They care only for ore output, nothing else.
I weigh our options, none of them good. Havoc getting directly involved is risky, but abandoning these people to corporate exploitation is unthinkable. For now, more intel is needed. Here's the plan for now. Get our repairs completed so we can mobilize quickly. Keep monitoring their activity but lay low. And be ready to move when I say so. Can you handle that?
Of course, and thank you again for not turning away when we need help most. My people will never forget it.
We leave Tal's home, but his pleas hang heavy on me. Peaceful resolution may still be possible, but Zendi has shown blatant disregard for life and justice. They may only respond to bold action. I fear violence will find us here, whether we invite it or not. All right, team, we need more intel on Zendi's operations before we act. Any volunteers to scout ahead?
Ivar and I can sweep the perimeter of the mining complex, get a feel for their defenses. We'll scan for structural weak points too.
Yes, time for a closer look at these scum. Lead the way, Eric.
Sounds good. Go in quiet, do not engage. Report back here as soon as you have a layout.
While they're scouting topside, I'll do a bit of research on Zendi, dig up all I can. Should be child's play.
Perfect. See what else you can uncover. We'll reconvene and discuss our next move. Stay sharp out there. The team moves out, eager for the mission ahead. Risky, yes, but necessary. Fortune favors the bold, and Havoc is no stranger to danger. Over the next few days, Havoc kept close eyes on Zendi's mining complex while awaiting repairs. The massive strip mine expanded daily, scarring deeper into the jagged canyons. More pipelines were built, funneling chem-laden waters toward Zentara, and squads of combat drones began patrolling wider swaths of the valley. Tension mounted as Tal pressed us for action against the mine. But open conflict now, before Havoc was space-worthy again, was too risky. I promised we would act, but only at the right moment. For today, we could only continue monitoring the situation closely and preparing for whatever came next. Back aboard Havoc, Tal enters, grinning eagerly. Grease stains his clothes.
Great news, friends. Our mechanics have repaired your shields and hyperdrive motivator. Havoc is spaceworthy again.
You came through for us. I won't forget it.
It was the least we could do. Now, will you honor our agreement and help curb Zendi's destruction? Our need has only grown more dire.
I weigh his words, knowing we must soon take action. But caution was still needed. We'll continue monitoring and assessing the situation. When the moment is right, Havoc will rise to aid your people. You have my word.
That is good enough. My people grow anxious, but we will wait and trust in your judgment. The day of reckoning draws near for Zendi.
Tal leaves. The engines hum with life again, but heavier decisions weigh on me now. The time for hiding and waiting had passed. Zendi's ruthlessness left little doubt violence would find us sooner than later. Now fully repaired, Havoc would answer that call. Tika waved me over eagerly. She had been digging through data spoils from our past raids, searching for any clues related to Alara's missing sister.
Captain, remember that encrypted imp data core we stole back on Valgora? I finally cracked a fragmented prisoner transfer log for the Reckoner.
Sual, route change approved. Prisoner 87659 will be transferred from Moonbase Andara directly to Facility Alpha on Krygus.
Confirmed. We will process her arrival at Krygus.
Does the log ID the prisoner? Alara's sister's name was Talia Shen. See if you can pull a manifest.
Here, prisoner 87659. Name listed as Talia Shen. It's her. She's being held at that infamous Krygus prison now.
Excitement wells up, but I remain cautious until we confirm it's truly Alara's lost sister. Good work. Let's keep digging. We need all we can access about Facility Alpha before planning a rescue op.
Of course, I'll scour for additional intel on Krygus. And my lips are sealed until we verify it's really her.
Stay discreet. This lead gives me hope, but we can't rush in blindly. Gather all you can. The pieces are coming together if this pans out. For Alara's sake, I prayed her sister was within reach. But finding imprisoned needles in the galaxy's vast haystack was never easy. While surveilling Xendi operations, a distant boom draws Havoc's attention. Rushing to investigate, we witness Xendi drones bombarding protesters camped at the mine gates. Columns of black smoke rise from the shattered encampment as panicked settlers flee. Laser fire strafes the area as combat drones march in, trampling the wounded without hesitation. It's a slaughter. The settlers dared defy Xendi and are now paying in blood. We react on instinct to the carnage below. Eric, shields up. Ivar, suppressing fire. Get those drones back. Alara, evacuate who you can. Go, go, go! Havoc charges into the fray, weapons blazing. This wanton violence forces our hand. The time has come to confront Xendi directly. Columns of black smoke rose from what remained of their defiant encampment, now shattered ruins. Xendi had finally lost patience with the blockade. We raced toward the chaotic scene. Laser bolts sizzled through the air as panicked civilians fled the brutal assault. Armored combat drones marched relentlessly onward, trampling the wounded underfoot. Settler blood had been spilled, and Havoc reacted on instinct. All caution was thrown aside in the heat of the moment. Eric, shield emitters at full power. Drive those drones back. Ivar, lay down suppressing fire. Buy these people time to retreat. Move.
Emitters coming online. Pushing forward now.
Plasma buffet, coming right up.
Havoc laid down a barrage of firepower, catching the drones in a punishing crossfire. Their advance stalled as they recalibrated to target us instead. We immediately seized the opportunity. Fall back to the ship. We regroup and strike from the air. Under heavy covering fire, we retreated up the canyon slopes toward the landed Havoc, the drones in close pursuit. Our ship's guns could quickly even these desperate odds. But as the loading ramp lowered, Tal came sprinting up behind us, clothes bloodied and eyes wild.
Jaxx, we need Havoc!
Below, his people were dying. He pleaded for immediate aid. Tal, get your people clear. We'll cover you from the skies.
Please, please, you have to do something. There's no time. If you don't stand now, we'll be wiped out. I beg you, fight with us.
Looking into Tal's desperate eyes, I knew there was only one honorable choice before me, to stand and fight, though it endangered Havoc as well. These people had no other hope. Havoc team, are you with me?
Always, Jax.
Ready and waiting on your signal, Captain. Mines have been set for days around the main dig site for whenever you give the word.
Already ghosted into their systems 3 moons back.
Can I keep killing them, Captain?
Those Xendi thugs won't know what hit them once these detonators click.
A ragged cheer rose from the battered settlers as Havoc charged back into the fray, weapons blazing. We hammered the drone phalanx with coordinated strikes from multiple angles, catching them off guard. Xendi had expected unarmed civilians, not stout resistance from veteran fighters. Their drones reacted sluggishly under our blistering assault, allowing us to punch through and inflict heavy damage. But despite the element of surprise, they still outnumbered us greatly. And now their targeting algorithms were adapting. This was a desperate gambit with lives hanging in the balance. Sizzling laser bolts filled the air as the drones retaliated with overwhelming force. We absorbed their volleys on our shields and armor, leaving scorch marks but protecting the crew. Barely. Stay together. Layer fields of fire. Don't let them isolate us. Tika, if you have access to their tech, now would be a good time.
Working on it now, Captain.
Laser cannonades barrage Havoc's shields as Ivar returns fire. Plasma rounds tearing through the drone ranks. But more descend from the mines ahead, flanking our position. They're attempting to surround us! Fall back to the settlement! We need better ground! Eric, make it hurt! Under intense fire, Havoc executes a fighting withdrawal. Step by step, we give up ground grudgingly, laying down withering, covering fire as civilians flee for their lives.
Shields weakening fast. Multiple breaches. I'm sending the signal now, Captain.
Havoc braces for the end as dozens of drones swarm our position. But sudden sniper fire erupts from the ridge ahead. Tal's settlers.
Now, brothers, while the drones are divided, bring them down.
Cries sound as the settlers open fire from the high ground. With the drones' attention divided, the tide shifts in our favor. Havoc rallies for a counterattack.
Ha-ha! Now we crush these cans for good. Havoc, strike hard.
Going down now, Captain.
Seeing the drones falter, Alara swoops the Havoc low, turret blazing. Drones scatter from her strafing runs, only to be picked off by the settlers. The drones losing power begin to fall from the sky. Press them hard. Push the advantage. Locked shields form a battering ram. I lead the charge. Company men backward as Ivar fires over their heads. The Zendi personnel are cornered against a sheer canyon wall.
By the gods, finish them, friends, before reinforcements arrive.
I signaled the settlers to circle wide around the remaining drones. Their flanking maneuver complete, I gave the order to Havoc to charge as one unified armored spear tip. All together now, crush them against the canyon wall. Charge! Ivar and Eric bashed them backward with massive shield thrusts, while Tika laid down suppressive fire, blasting them off balance.
Push them back!
From the high ground, Tal's settlers rained boulders down, crushing some of the pinned men. With their men pushed to the limit by our flanking assaults, they began to lay down their arms. For a brief moment, the valley fell eerily silent, only winds and our distant cheers. The acrid smoke rising from ravaged drones reinforced the magnitude of what we'd accomplished here today. Against all odds, we had turned near certain defeat into victory. But it had come at great cost, exposing ourselves undeniably. We had won this battle, but at the price of making unforgiving enemies. Heavy sacrifices still loomed over the horizon.
The honor is ours, friends. By the eternal stones, you helped us turn the tide against those monsters.
For today, we celebrated survival and resistance with the settlers. But in my heart, I feared the brutal repercussions soon to come. After celebrating our unlikely victory together, it was time for Havoc to depart Zentara. I spurred the crew to finish repairs and prepare to leave orbit. But Tal came to plead with us to stay and continue the fight against the mining complex.
You've proven we can triumph against the machines. With you still beside us, we could liberate Zentara for good.
Your people have the will now, Tal. But open war means casualties on both sides. Havoc draws blades when necessary, but avoids bloodshed when possible.
I cannot force your hand, but my heart wishes your fight were not at an end. You've given us hope again, outsiders.
We've done all we can for now without endangering our larger mission. The spark is lit. It is up to you now to continue the flame.
You speak wisdom, friends. Our path is laid before us. Safe travels, and know you will always have allies on Zentara.
The Havoc rose skyward, our spirits lifted by Tal's understanding. In time, he would see we were driven not by fear, but purpose. Much like his own people, now rallying with renewed strength. For today, Zendi's wrath lurked behind us, and luck soon runs out for those who press it too far.
I'm sad to see them go.
I am as well, my friend. They gave us a chance, but I still fear we may be doomed.
Perhaps not. He handed me this communicator to request some good fortune.
Captain, got a minute? I finished my deep dive on Kragus. This prison break just got real dangerous.
Give me the rundown, Tika. We knew risks came with this fight.
Massive defenses, layered auto turrets, top-grade life-form scanners. They built this place to hold the worst enemies of the Empire.
And now they're holding one of ours. We'll be ready.
I'm still digging for any structural weak points or gaps in security patrols. This will take time to plan right.
Then it's settled. Set course for Earth. We'll gear up and prepare for the battles ahead. Havoc doesn't leave crew behind.
Was hoping you'd say that. I'll keep hunting for anything to give us an edge on Kragus. We'll get her back, Captain.
Ahead lies one of our most perilous missions yet. We'll need all our skills and technology to have any chance. Set course for Earth. We'll resupply and plan our approach carefully, and an old friend there may aid our cause. But more on that later.
Earth it is. I'll tell Ilara. Our crusade just got real. The fights ahead will be brutal.
We knew risks came with this fight, but we don't leave crew behind. Ilara's sister is one of us. Tika nodded, resolve stealing her eyes. She would move the stars themselves to reunite Ilara's family. Havoc with her till the end. The Havoc raced from Zentara into the void. Ahead, Earth beckoned, obscurity, and a chance to bolster our strength. But our hearts now turned toward Kragus and the darkest of voyages. We would brave its nightmare depths and triumph for our own. Fortune favors the bold, and none are bolder than Havoc Squad. Our moment would come.